it's Kimberly here. I am late on reporting the Todd and Julie Chrisley sentencing. They were sentenced on November 21st, which I had intended to make a video about that quickly, but I've just been so caught up with some personal family issues and just a lot of things going on, and I ended up getting backlogged on this. But in case you haven't heard, most everybody else has probably heard it, but just in case you haven't, Todd and Julie Chrisley of Chrisley Knows Best, the reality TV show, were convicted of various forms of bank fraud, tax evasion, wire fraud, conspiracy charges. And they were given Todd was given a sentence of 12 years with 16 months probation afterwards. He is 53, so he'll probably be around 65 when he does get out, unless he gets out early, if there was some reason for overcrowding, or if he got time marked off for, I don't know if they still do the good behavior thing or not, I don't know. And Julie, she's 49 years old right now, and she was given a 7-year sentence, so she would be 56, around 56 probably, give or take her birthday, and also the same 16-month probation afterwards. They were facing up to 30 years, so they actually got, I think, fairly light sentences, because although it's not a violent crime, it's a white-collar crime, and they actually they got $30 million worth of bank loans during the years of 2007 to 2012. This is when all this occurred, and they ended up filing for $20 million worth of bankruptcy. You know, who can burn through that much money? That's a lot of money to burn through. And they ended up filing for bankruptcy. And I think it was thought of as being just a waste on a luxury lifestyle. And I think that's what a lot of the criticism of all this is the lifestyle that they led. And on the show Chrisley Knows Best, you know, they did have, you know, shopping sprees, and they went on trips and stuff like that. They just ended up blowing the money, and they were alleged to have created false documents in order to obtain these loans, and they went to small banks to try to get these loans instead of larger banks, which may have harsher criteria for the borrowing. So they were able to finagle these loans out of these smaller banks. It was easier to do it that way with multiple banks instead of getting just one large loan from a large bank. And that way it was a lot easier, I guess, to get the smaller loans with the alleged created documents. And they were also accused of hiding money, and I don't know what that meant, if they had other accounts or real estate or other, I mean, I just don't know, but I did hear and see some things written about hidden money. So I don't know if anything has been divulged about where or how much, or if it was discovered. I don't really know the situation with that. But they also were alleged to have gotten Nana Faye, the grandmother, to also sign documents. And I don't think she really understood. She was saying that she signed the documents, you know, totally believing, you know, all faith in Todd and Julie. So believing that she was doing something that was business-like and not doing anything wrong in her mind. So I believe that's really why she was not charged with anything, because I think that they took advantage of her because of her age, her elderly age, and I guess the relationship, you know, being blood related and being part of the show, I think she felt like maybe that was well, actually, they weren't on the show yet. I believe the show wasn't developed till 2014. But I think that with the lifestyle that they were living, the things that they were doing, I think she felt maybe a little beholden to them, that she was doing the right thing to help them, and just to, I don't know. I think it was easy for them to manipulate her. And they have 5 children: Savannah, Chase, Lindsay, Kyle, and Grayson. And Grayson was in a wreck. The youngest boy was in a wreck 1 week before they were sentenced, but he seems to be okay. Haven't heard any if there was any severe injuries, but they were saying that he didn't have any memory of the crash, and that can be typical sometimes if you have a head injury. It's sometimes temporary or long term. I haven't really, well, it hasn't been very long, so if there are any complications, it may not be found out till later. But also, Chloe is the granddaughter of Todd and Julie, and she is the daughter of Kyle, and he lost custody of Chloe due to his drug and his lifestyle. Things just imploded on him, and Todd and Julie ended up getting full custody of her. She is only 10 years old. Grayson is 16, so they're both minors, and Julie was the main caretaker of these 2 young minor children, and they were asking for leniency for that reason, because she was the caretaker and she did not want to leave those kids without a mother while, both Todd and her would be in prison. They were asking for sentences that could be stacked, like as if Todd would serve his sentence first and Julie would stay at home with the 2 minor children so that they would have a somewhat stable home life and not be affected as badly. And they wanted to wait for Julie to serve her sentence after Chloe turned 18, which the judge was not allowing that, saying that, lots of people get in trouble, go to prison, have to serve their sentences because they do have children, is not an excuse that they can use, let me wait till my kids are 18 and then I'll serve the sentence. Rarely does that happen. There's been a few instances where I've seen cases like that, but it's almost never done. And I did work with a guy that he committed a very violent crime with another individual. They did a home invasion. Not the person I worked with, but the person that was with him had the guy kneel down and then tried to shoot him in the back of the head, and it actually ricocheted off behind the ear. And the guy survived, and they were caught. And then the guy that I worked with, one of the guys that was in the home invasion, he was given a 7-year sentence, and the judge let him out, or not report to jail for about 6 months because his girlfriend was pregnant. And I have rarely heard that happen in a violent crime type of case. It's more likely to happen in like a white collar case where people can get their affairs in order, especially if they own businesses or they do have, if they're, I don't know, a caretaker of a sick parent or something like that, to make arrangements for their children and stuff like that. I have heard of cases like that, but I was very shocked when this person that I worked with told me that, and kind of flabbergasted that happened because it was such a violent, horrible crime. And in this case, they're probably going to, I believe they have to report in sometime in April for their to report to the actual prison. They will most likely, I feel most likely be given a placement in a facility that is for less violent criminals instead of it. This is a federal conviction, but they still will probably go to soft. I think what they have different names for, but I've heard of soft prison, where it's more like dormitory top living quarters, and kind of like the one that Martha Stewart went to. That's probably a viable option for Julie. Todd, it kind of depends. Sometimes, a lot of times the men are still sent to a more harder environment, but I really don't see that. I believe he's going to be sent, if anything, to a minimum security prison. And I think that's a really scary thing for anybody who's never been in prison. And I think since they're celebrities, there's a possibility that they may be more looked after. Because, if a major celebrity was ever unalived in a hard prison, which I don't think that's ever happened. I don't recall any celebrity being put out of their life in a very severe, hard prison environment. But I think it would put a lot of criticism on, I don't know, it's some weird school of thought that I think that it would put such a hard light on the prison system other than what it already is, which to me sounds ridiculous because it's one of the worst environments ever. In a male prison, men tend to SA each other, but in female prisons, women, they seduce each other and develop relationships. So there's a different dynamic between a male and a female prison. So, I think Todd is scared to death, really. And I think Julie is too. They're both very upset, and you know that they're just dreading it because they're not prison people. They haven't, I don't think they've had any real serious brushes with the law or anything like that. But, they committed the crime, so they're going to have to do the time, just a lesson they should have learned a long time ago. I'm actually a little worried for them, So if they're not sent to a minimum security facility, then, for people that aren't from the streets and, haven't lived a hard life like that, that's going to be an eye-opening shock for them. Well, Savannah, I believe she's the youngest daughter. She has gotten custody of both Chloe and Grayson, and I think she's 23 or 20 something. I don't remember her age, but they will be in the care of Savannah Chrisley while Todd and Julie are incarcerated. Okay, well, thank you for coming to my channel, and sorry this was so late. I'll see y'all later. Bye.